Hi, I'm Paul Lazarovich, and welcome to this issue of Cranberry Country Journal. You know, since 1993, we've been bringing you a little slice of life of the people, places, and activities that make the Cranberry Country area a special place to call home. And indeed, what makes it special are events like this. We're here at the Lakeville Library as part of the Made in Lakeville festivities. And later on, Alan Russell and the LakeCAM will be bringing all their equipment over to senior citizens as we capture some of the sights and sounds of Made in Lakeville event that's kicking off the holiday season here. So stick around, we've got a great show for you. We'll be right back right after this. We're here with Olivia Mello. Olivia is the director of the Lakeville Library, and really to call it the library is really a misnomer. It's a, you could have called this is a cultural community center, right?
I would say so. We definitely have become more than just a library. We are a hub of the community. We have a lot of activities going on. Of course, you still function as a typical library. We've got our books, we've got our story hours, we have our book clubs, but we also have knitting groups, we have mahjong groups, we have groups that come in to play cribbage, and then of course we have everything else, which is what goes on in the gallery. We have an exhibit that goes on every month, and this month's event is tied into the Made in Lakeville, so there are things that are for sale that are to benefit the library. And we just try to offer a little bit of everything for everyone, not just your typical library where people come in for books.
Yeah, you're making what the library I think should be, is really a good access and community resources. That's what the library stands for.
Definitely, and that is what today's library is all about. It's not your grandmother's library anymore, nor is it either my mother's library anymore. It definitely is a civic center, if you will, where a lot of people can come to participate in the activities and expand their lifelong learning, which is really what the mission of this library is to offer the community lifelong learning through various outlets, whether it's the collection of materials or whether it's the programs that they come in or whether it's just to come in and socialize.
I'm going to ask you, Olivia, you've been here 6 years, and I remember interviewing you when you just first started. Tell me about some of the changes in the 6 years that's even surprised you.
Yeah, well, besides having a lot more books on the shelf
yes.
and a lot more audio and DVDs to offer the community, it's been the sense of growth that we felt over the years and the sense of community that we've encountered over time. How more and more people have come in and become a part of our group now, not just as users or patrons as we call them, but have become family and friends. There's a lot of people that meet here on a weekly basis that come from this community and surrounding communities who didn't know each other before and have become good friends. It has been, it's a great place for people to meet and become part of the community.
You're dealing with friends in this case, it sounds like, yeah. Some good things lie ahead in the future for the library?
Oh, definitely. Of course, we're always looking to grow what we're offering to the public. So we will continue with what we have, but we are looking at different resources, which now, of course, we're in the digital era, and we're looking to expand our ebook collection, and we're looking to digitize some of our collections so we have it available online. And we will just continue to look for programs that are innovative and of interest to the public. And hopefully we'll be here for generations to come and have a packed house every time we offer an event.
Olivia Mello, folks, the director of the Lakeville Library, actually the Lakeville Community Center, I'll call it that. And this is Paul Lazarovich. We're going to continue with Cranberry Country Journal as we continue with our Made in Lakeville tour. We're going to head over to speak with the children's librarian and the gingerbread event. We'll be right back.
Packers,
Vikings, Red State, Blue State.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
But when we live united, we create real lasting change in the education, income, and health of our country. Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
As we continue with our Made in Lakeville event here today, folks, at the Lakeville Public Library, I'm delighted to bring someone who really not disavows, but changes the notion of a children's librarian. That person always said, shh, and don't have any fun, because when I first interviewed Teresa Mera, she was putting on a Star Wars event here at the library, but today, something a little bit more Christmassy and holiday-like. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And what's going on today?
Sure, today for our Friends Open House, which we have every year, down in the children's room, we are making gingerbread houses. So we have marshmallow shaped like gingerbread, sugar sprinkles, M&Ms, little mints. We have basically anything you'd want to put on a house, we have it. So we definitely give Hansel and Gretel a little run for their money.
Is it edible afterward?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Frosting, nothing that we're using is inedible. So
That's the best part of a gingerbread house.
Absolutely, is getting to taste it after.
And I do want the folks to know, normally when you meet Teresa, she's not having the reindeer attire, but she's just that much fun though. I understand you've got a new program coming up in January. Tell us about it.
We do. In January, we are starting a program. It's going to be the last Wednesday of every month, and it's called What You Reading Wednesdays. And we're going to have some snacks, and the kids can just come, and we're just going to talk about all the different books we've been reading all month long. So you choose what you're going to read. It's kind of a spin on a classic book club. And yeah, that's the best way I find to find out what's good to read, is talking to everyone else who's reading. So if you have a favorite book, if you have a book you didn't care for so much, just let us know about it. So every Wednesday, 4 to 5, What You Reading Wednesdays.
You could just see it, and you have a lot of fun doing this.
I love it. I love it. The ladies actually did dare me to wear the antlers. I don't know. They thought it was going to like stop me. They're sorely mistaken. I was very happy to take them out and put them on this morning.
Let me ask you, you hear a lot today, with the digital world and the internet. Kids still reading books.
Absolutely. And at the library, we're not just about your classic paper book. We have ebooks available online. You can listen to books, so you can listen and read along. So whether you have a Kindle, a Nook, an iPad, an iPhone, an Android, any device you have, we can set you up with a good book.
In addition to a good book, I understand that if you can just watch television, you can catch some children's stories on TV.
You can. Something new we started with the addition of the cable access studio. We are running story hour, so Alan's behind the camera today, so he's going to cue me if I have the times wrong. But I believe while story hour is on break, you can catch us every day from 10 to 11 and then 1 to 2. Oh, he's going to mean the knot, so I got it right. All right.
and let folks know, that's Alan Russell, folks, who's behind the camera, who makes this all technically possible.
Absolutely. Yep. So you can catch us and sharing just some Christmas stories and some of my personal favorites. We have some news stories, so just a little bit of everything for people.
I always think of one of my favorite books as a kid, but I want to ask the children's librarian, what was your favorite children's book growing up?
Oh, that's a tough one. One of my all-time favorites, and I do guiltily try to read it every year. We actually did, I think it was one of the first stories we did, Imogene's Antlers. I remember seeing it on Reading Rainbow as a kid, and it has just stuck in my mind. And when I saw it was still in the collection and in circulation when I started 7 years ago, it was like Christmas in September. That's when I started, and I was like, Imogene's Antlers! And you will find it displayed most often.
And that's what makes books so exciting. It brings back memories and just the whole sense of that time comes rushing back.
Absolutely. Another book that we have, and you most likely see it on the top shelf, is called Tub Time. And I remember my younger sister bringing it home one time, and I was reading it to her, and again, an instant favorite, about 3 very mischievous girls, which I have 2 other sisters, so a lot of relation going on there. But Tub Time, if you haven't read it, check it out because it's excellent.
And I will tell you, my first book as a child that I remember taking out with my new library card was Albert the Albatross. It is still in circulation. Please don't look it up because it'll show you how old I am. We're speaking with Teresa Mary, folks. She's a children's librarian and just a really cool lady here. So come over and say hi to her at the Lakeville Library. And we're going to continue with some of the events here at the Lakeville Library as part of the Made in Lakeville event as Cranberry Country Journal continues on the road. We'll be right back.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
The nice part of the Made in Lakeville festivities, you get a chance to speak to the writers, the crafters, the artisans, and I have someone with me we've had on the program a long time ago. In fact, I read her book, Winter Kill, and I have to say I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
We're speaking with Joyce Walsh, and I'm holding in my hand one of your new books, a nonfiction. Tell us about it.
Well, this started as an investigation of a cold case murder in 1969. A man named Russell Goldstein, who owned an antique shop, he was a gun dealer, coin collector in Fall River, was shot to death in his apartment. The case was never solved. And a friend of my husband said, I think I know who did it. You ought to look into it. I said, well, I'm not Nancy Drew. But I got involved in it. And so it took me a year and a half, and I investigated it. I did come up with a name, and it's the story of how I did what I did. It's autobiographical, and it's all the do's and don'ts, and I did some big don'ts, and came to, after this time, a conclusion.
I'm not going to ask you to tell us who did it.
No. Spoiler alert.
So, as you ventured into nonfiction, what are the differences? How has it challenged you?
Oh, immensely. I mean, with fiction, I don't have to worry about talking to anybody. This was really a lot of cold calls. It stretched me. It was out of my comfort zone, and I was going into uncharted waters. And some of it is a little bit scary because I apparently offended somebody who I named, not as a perpetrator, but as part of the investigation, and they got very mad at me. So yes, I'm back to fiction.
Well, and you also have a new fiction book that's coming out. Tell us about that, Joyce.
Came out also, Strumming the Banjo Moon.
Let me hold that one up for a sec.
Sure. This has been nominated for 2012 National Book Award.
Congratulations.
Well, no, I won't get it, but I thank the Academy. It's very nice to be nominated. But I'm happy with it. It's not a mystery. It's contemporary fiction. It's sort of like Huckleberry Finn, but a young Latino woman on the road. And I'm very proud of it because it's so different from the other books that I've written. So I keep plugging on,
I've got to ask you, folks are going to be watching this, so we're talking nonfiction about a murder and the Banjo Moon and Winter Kill and your other books. Where does this nice lady from southeastern Massachusetts come up with these ideas?
I know, some of it's pretty gory. I think that's why. I think my personal life is so stable and enjoyable that I can let my imagination just go into little dark corners without any fear.
One last thing, again, a reminder, folks, we're speaking with Joyce Walsh, her new book, Banjo Moon, and also Sleuth Blog. How can we get these books?
Well, they are available on Amazon, and many of them are available in Maria's Bookstore or the Freetown Trading Post or in Taunton, Read More Books. So
and do you have a website yourself?
I do, JoyceWalsh.com.
Great. Joyce Walsh, but the website is joycewalsh.com, folks. Thanks so much. I wish you luck on the new books.
Thank you
Good
so
seeing
much.
you again.
And you too.
We'll continue. We'll speak to a few more authors here as part of the Made in Lakeville event. Well, stick around. We're going to speak with Jean Dule, and Jean is the author of an exciting book, folks, in terms of she's done some exciting and lengthy research documenting the grave sites here in Lakeville, Massachusetts. Her book is called Lakeville, Massachusetts, Gravestone Inscriptions, and I had a chance to interview Jean quite a while ago. And Jean, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
How have things been since the book was first published?
They're going well. I'm working on another book right now.
Tell us about it.
This is a book about Tack Factory Cemetery, which borders Middleborough and Lakeville. So we have both Middleborough and Lakeville former residents buried there. Going into a little bit more depth as far as researching the people, finding what their occupation was, who their parents were, who their children were, also where they lived, if their house is still standing, including any obituaries I found, and contacting descendants to see if there's any photographs available to include in the book. Should be very interesting.
I think the hallmark of Jean's books, folks, has been the amount of research and the time and care she takes into presenting and giving you her findings. How do you have the patience for that, first of all? You've got to be a very patient woman.
Well, you learn that. I am a dentist in my other occupation, and we're very detail-oriented, obviously, and you learn to be patient and do it right. And that's really helped me in writing the book. I won't rest until I find things correct.
I know we had you on the program before. There were so many interesting stories and anecdotes. Any story in particular that comes from the Lakeville, Massachusetts gravestone inscription book?
Well, there was a time that I was down at Pierce Cemetery, and that you have to access through Berkeley, drive around a farm, go back in the woods, dirt road. And I'd inquired at the house, the last house before there, and he showed me how to get there. I went back there. It was very lichen encrusted, the stones there. And it took me a long time to transcribe them, even though they had maybe 50 stones there. Well, I'm deep in transcribing the stones, and I hear this rustle, and I turn, and there's the man who I had checked with. And this was before I had a cell phone. I was alarmed. I was in the woods. Nobody knew where I was. I was scared to death until I saw his baby in his arms. And then I knew I was safe.
He wasn't gunning for you.
He wasn't going to hurt me.
And it wasn't a ghost either, so.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no. No ghost stories. I'm sorry.
When will the new book be out?
Next year.
Next year, okay. But in the meantime, how can we get a hold of the book that's been so delightful we spoke about earlier, the Lakeville, Massachusetts Gravestone Inscriptions?
Well, for local people, it's sold at Savas Liquors here in downtown Lakeville, and also at Nature's Pantry up on Main Street in Lakeville.
And a website where we can contact you?
Yes, urnandwillow.com. That's U-R-N, not E-A-R-N. U-R-N and Willow, spelled out.
urnandwillow.com. Folks, great Christmas gift. And a truly remarkable piece of research you put together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again.
Nice to see you too.
We're going to head over and speak to Tom Sirignano, folks, who's going to tell us about some things going on in the Boston area. We'll be right back right after this. It's going to be difficult doing this interview, folks, because I really don't know Tom Sirignano, author of The Continent Outsider and recently the author of 67 Cents, but good to see you again, buddy.
Good to see you, Paul.
Let me ask you, a new book out, 67 Cents. Tell us about it.
Wow, this is a lot more exciting than my real life story, but it is a fictional version of my life story. And in this story, the fictional character named Nick takes advantage of all the offers that were made to me in real life. But Nick says yes to those offers from the mob in South Boston during those Whitey Bulger years. So it gets pretty interesting.
Tell us about some of those offers. I've had a chance to read the book, folks, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Well, I'll tell you a few of the things that they wanted me to get involved with storing hijacked vehicles, you know, stripping stolen cars in my shop, and of course I said no to those things in real life. And I was able to do that because I was their mechanic, and they liked me. Normally they don't take no for an answer, but thank God they did. And they also approached me to hold high-stakes card games in my back room, which I also, it was tempting. They would have gave me 10% of the pots, and which would have amounted to a good chunk of money. But again, I said no. And they actually got wind of a case where somebody was giving me a hard time, and they found out about it, and they actually offered to kill this guy for me. And no. But I don't want to get involved in that. But in the fictional version, Nick says yes to all those things, and you can imagine where his life goes because of those different decisions. So it shows where a few different decisions will take you if you make the wrong decisions.
Sounds like you made the right decisions. Why the name 67 Cents?
You really want me to tell you?
Please. Well, unless you don't want it. You want us to buy the book and learn about it, or would
well, the title, I'll say it.
Okay.
The title comes from the fact that when that mob enforcer offered to kill that man for me, he put his hand out and he said, "Give me 67 cents." And I said, "What do you want 67 cents for?" He says, "You buy the bullet and he's history." That was their fee for me.
Ouch.
To take somebody out.
Yeah.
So you better be good to me. I still know some of those guys.
Tom, how does this guy, this very nice guy from Lakeville, Massachusetts, wearing a tie, dressed nicely, living in a suburban life, where'd you get these ideas? It's all based on what you lived through.
It's based on real life. In fact, you'll have to figure out where the real story starts and ends.
And I recommend you do see, get the book, folks, 67 Cents, or Tom's first book, The Constant Outsider. Tom was on our show a couple of times, but if someone wants to purchase the book, how do we do that, Tom?
Well, you can go to theconstantoutsider.com and order one with signature. I'd be happy to mail them to you or deliver, or if you're local. Or you can go on Amazon. They're on Amazon Kindle. They're soft cover, hardcover on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you want to go, you can get the books.
I'm just waiting for the movie to be shot, folks, because there's some great stories. And Tom has promised myself and Alan Russell a part in the movie, folks, so we're waiting.
Well, we're going to need some bodies.
Okay. Tom Sirignano, folks. Tom, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for stopping by,
Good
Paul.
to see you. Well, a lot of folks here at the Made in Lakeville event, and we just happened to come by Keiko Oral, folks. You know her, Keiko, as the state representative, and congratulations for us on being re-elected. I understand you bought a few things here today?
I did. It's a great event, and I bought a bag from the Historical Association, and I also brought a number of baked goods, and they look delicious, they taste delicious. I had a free sample, and it's a great event.
I'm not going to ask you who to get those samples and so forth, or gifts.
My children they're going to be very, very happy
Great.
with homemade baked goods.
You've got to be proud of activities like this and proud of the communities you serve.
It's a great community, and I think that the people who coordinated everything to put something like this together is a lot of work, and I know that the artisans and the crafters are very thankful, and so it's a great holiday event.
And some
happy to be here.
And thank you for some of the great work you've done for the community too.
Well, we had some great news this week with the announcement of FEMA expanding their study of the Narragansett Bay watershed to include the Nemasket River, Assawampset Pond, and Long Pond.
And you've been involved in that action for quite a while.
I have been, and it's an exciting development, and I think it's a first step in solving some of our water management issues.
Okay. We'll look forward to hearing more about that in the future, folks. State Representative Keiko Oral from Lakeville, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Here's part of the Made in Lakeville event. We'll continue right after
And
this.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. And bring home your new best friend today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
And you will have a very Merry Christmas if you listen to Jerry Gottschalk, folks, on the keyboards here as part of the Made in Lakeville event. And Jerry, just play some music for us. I want the folks to hear it. And if you'll notice, Jerry told me he can play while looking at me, reading a book, without looking at the keys. I promised Jerry I would not sing.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see if you can really talk and play the piano. What's your favorite Christmas song?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Yeah. And the Mel Torme version? Yep.
My version of Mel Torme.
Okay. Is there, tell us about your piano style, how long you've been playing?
Well, I've been making my living for 65 years.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about, you got to forgive me, but tell me about some of the bands and places you played through the years.
Well, I've played in 35 states, 5 countries. And let's see, I was on the Perry Como show back in the 50s.
Brought you by Palm All Cigarettes. What was that like?
Oh, he was a marvelous guy.
Yeah.
Beautiful guy. He made you write so easy, and right at home.
Yeah. So you've done television, played big bands in the day, right?
No, mostly small groups.
Oh.
15 years I was part of two of us. We were called Just Two, myself and Tony DeFazio. And we worked together for 15 years, 6 and 7 nights a week. Never had a night off.
That's a lot of music. What did Tony play? Was he guitar?
Bass.
Bass.
So bass. Piano and bass and we
piano.
sang everything.
Any particular venues that stood out, some stories you can tell us about?
Well, I can say that everything that could possibly happen. I've been shot at.
Let's stay on that one for a second. But remember, this is a family show.
I was in Detroit and playing with a quartet. And a guy walked in and started shooting, just saying, "Where is she? Where is she?" And the guy that was playing bass in the group I was playing with got shot in the hip, and I did a head-first dive off the piano stool.
But did you continue playing after he left?
Oh, yeah.
What was the song you were playing? Do you remember?
That was about 40, 50 years ago.
How about some places that'll bring back some memories of the southeastern Massachusetts area?
Oh, well, I played in Boston for years.
Mm-hmm.
Worked at the Sea and Surf in Framingham for 3 years.
Sure.
Christo's in Brockton,
Brockton,
for
yeah.
4 years.
So did you get over to Blindstrom's in South Boston? Did you?
I worked with Jack Richards and the Marksmen. We were featured group at Blindstrom's.
Mm-hmm. Great venue. Too bad it burnt down. That was a great venue. How about in Framingham, the old was it the Carousel Theater or There were a couple of places
in
out
Framingham,
there.
I told you,
the Sea
and Surf.
Sea and Surf,
yeah,
yep.
That's where I played out there. Oh, and another, Caesar's Palace.
Tell me about that. You've been out to Vegas.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I stayed there, yeah, but no, it wasn't Caesar. It was Caesar Tamagno's in Framingham. I can't remember the name of the place.
Oh, I think it was just called Caesars, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
Yeah, in Framingham.
Yeah.
Because you bring back some great memories, great places. Play some music for us.
Okay, I'll play a Christmas song.
Okay.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
You've played it already, but I'd love to hear it again. It's the one by Mel Torme.
Oh,
Would you
I'll
mind
play
doing
it
it?
again. No,
But we're going to do it your style. Folks, let's listen to Jerry Gottschalk, the Christmas song, his favorite Christmas tune. Jerry Gottschalk, ladies and gentlemen, you've made this a very festive day for everyone. Thank you very much. You sound great. One last thing. How about someone else, some kid listening to this saying, I can't play piano. How long did it take to finally capture that sense or feeling that I could play?
I really don't know. It's just been my whole life.
Just your whole life, yeah. Yeah. You make it look easy.
Well, it is when you don't know what you're doing. I don't use music.
I noticed that, yeah.
Play.
Merry Christmas.
And if I played the song 5 times in a row, it would come out different 5 times.
Well, that certainly sounded beautiful. Thank you very much, Jerry. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
We're going to continue. You can't beat the sounds, folks. It's Jerry Gottschalk, the Christmas song, one of my favorites, and we heard it his style as we continue with Little Made in Lakeville. This Cranberry Country Journal continues on the road here at the Lakeville Public Library. As we continue with Made in Lakeville event, Alan Russell has nicely brought the cameras over now where we are at the Senior Citizen COA and right here at the Ted Williams camp. And we've convinced Sue Johnson to speak with us for a few minutes. We were informed that we had to speak with, I'm only kidding, I'm looking forward to speaking with. Sue is the proprietor of Memories in Glass, and these are all intricate 3-layer stained glass works. First of all, Sue, how did you get started doing these?
Well, I started doing stained glass in 1980. I always liked stained glass windows and stuff. And I was doing that and teaching classes and stuff. And I happened to pop in Vegas when they were teaching wire wrapping jewelry. And I fell in love with it. Went back the following year, bought myself a kiln, and I've gone crazy.
So what goes into make pick one of the pieces out and tell us the care and the time that goes into that. We can show it. Again, this is Sue Johnson, Memories in Glass. Tell us about this, these couple of pieces.
Different. It's dichroic.
Hold those up so Alan can see.
Dichroic glass is what gives it this beautiful sparkle and stuff. And
What do you mean by dichroic glass?
It's a glass that NASA invented to put on the outside of spaceships. And a glass artisan started playing with it and realized that when they fire them, they gave it beautiful life, sparkle, and stuff. So I use that in the middle of a lot of my pieces. I'll put a plain color glass on the bottom, and then put the dichroic, and then I layer it with clear glass, and then put it in a kiln and fire it. And then some of the pieces, like this one, is wire wrapped and gold-filled wire. Some of them I do with sterling silver.
That's going to take a lot of time, wiring and getting that wire wrap around.
Yes, yes, it does. And if you don't keep it up, you feel like you're all thumbs. I haven't done it for a few months now, so when I get back and do it, I'm going to feel like I have 10 thumbs. But it's beautiful, and it's one of a kind. I bought many pieces of jewelry over the years and spent a lot of money for them, only to wear them someplace and find somebody else had the same piece on. So when I make a piece, they're all one of a kind. I don't mass produce, I don't duplicate. So when you buy one of my pieces, you can be sure that you're the only one that's going to have it on.
Just the uniqueness. How do the folks? How are folks wearing these as great?
Pendants.
Just pendant. Okay.
Yeah, and I make pins, I make bracelets, rings. I'll make anything that people want.
Well, how can people get a hold of you? You have a website or a web address?
I do. It's memoriesandglassbysue.com. Or I live here in Lakeville. They can always call me. I'm just down the street. I have a studio over my garage if anybody needed things. And I teach stained glass classes.
Where?
At my studio. I taught at Fuller Museum for a while, but it was tough me carrying all my equipment back and forth. So then they would get the students and send them to me at the house. And so I found that's a lot easier.
Is there a phone number you want to give out where people can reach you at the studio?
Sure. It's 508-947-1815.
Sue Johnson, folks. Memories in Glass, some unique individual items, and they really truly are beautiful. So thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
You did a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
We're going to talk to a few more of the artisans and the crafts folks here. As Made in Lakeville, we've moved our cameras over to the Council on Aging, the Senior Citizen Center here in Lakeville, Massachusetts, at Ted Williams Camp. Let's bring our cameras around a bit. Come on. As we continue here at the COA, talking to the artisans and the crafts people, we're taking a stop with a face you might remember, might recognize from the library. We're speaking with Pam Tan, and we're speaking to her today as the proprietor for Pammy's Pearls and Stones Jewelry. And Pam, you made all of these?
I made all of these over about the past year or so.
You're one busy woman.
I am a busy woman.
Tell us about some of the items that you've made and what goes into making these items.
Most of them are made with either crystals, freshwater pearls. I do a lot of shell, mother of pearl shell, and natural gemstones. I like turquoise, so there's a lot of turquoise here. There's a lot of ocean jasper, and I like the combination of different colors, and that's what kind of inspires me.
What inspires you to use some of the colors and combinations? Because they do vary. I mean, I do see a lot of green highlighted here, and so forth.
Yeah, well, I do have favorite colors. I like greens, I like blues, I like purples, and then I just like to play with different unexpected combinations, like purple with yellow or blue with white, or just different things that you might not expect. I did one recently that I thought was going to be a little bit odd, but I kind of like the way it came out, and I'm inspired by looking out the window.
Just seeing what's around you, then, yeah. The time and the effort. I always say that I'm a very impatient man, and you need to have some patience and time to do this. How long does something like that take you to do? A one piece, for example.
A bracelet, I've got it down to about 30 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've got it down to about 30 minutes. The necklaces take a little bit longer, and the earrings, depending on the style, I can probably do about 3 or 4 pairs in an hour.
Is there any particular style that you see a lot of people buying? Anything that's trending right now?
A lot of people have been looking at the bracelets and buying the bracelets. I do some with angel charms, and that's been popular right now because of Christmas. I sold one necklace today with a wire wrap necklace. I do these wire wrapped pendants too. Those, I've sold a few of those, so those tend to be popular because they're simple and you can put them on any kind of chain or cord that you might have. People tend to like the shorter earrings, so I've sold a few of the shorter earrings today.
We're speaking with Pammy Tan, with Pammy's Pearls and Stone Jewelry, and how can folks get a hold of you if they'd like to purchase some of these items?
I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/PammyRoyTan.
And how do you spell Pammy for us?
PAMIEROYTAN, yes. Yes.
And is there also an email address or
There's
something?
There's an email address. It's PAMMIERT, PAMIERT @yahoo.com.
And you also may recognize her at the library every now and then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I wish you luck with your business. Beautiful. We're going to walk around and make a few more stops as we continue on Made in Lakeville Day here at part of Cranberry Country Journal. Be right back. I just happened to bump into Nancy Yates, folks. I'm like you bump into her everywhere in Lakeville, at Betty's Neck and Town Hall and so forth. Good to see you, Nancy.
You too.
You were here to show some great photographs as part of a project you're involved in. Tell us about it.
Yes, I'm on the State Bald Eagle Project. This is my 20th year. I found the original nest, and I have never, knock on wood, missed a year. For 20 years we've been going out, and every spring we band the baby eagles. We have 3 nests now in Lakeville. So every year I have a choice. I can either hold the baby eagle while they band it, or I can take its picture. So some years I take the picture, some years I hold the baby eagle.
Oh yeah, it's going to be tough not to hold them, I'm sure.
It is, but I like to get the pictures too. So.
Well, let's talk about one of the pictures in particular. Can you hold that up and we get the folks to see that? Now you took that picture, and that is the mother of all eagles.
This was the first nest in 1993 when I found the nest. This is the mother eagle, and every year for the last 20 years, except for 1 year, there have been young eaglets in the nest. So everybody asks me all the time how long they live. We'll have to see 20 years and counting for.
Still going strong. And speaking of the counts, how have the counts been through the years?
They've been pretty good. We had the most productive nest in the state 1 year. And then 1 year we had 3 baby eaglets in the nest, which was really good. And then the next year we didn't have any. So we're still up there among the top producing nests in the state.
And if folks haven't seen a bald eagle in the area, where can they go to better their chance to see it?
Lakeville Town Office Building. All you have to do is, I work at the Lakeville Town Office Building, and I see an eagle almost every day out the front window.
I'm going to stop by because I have yet to see a bald eagle.
Yeah.
I've seen black eagles. Are there black eagles?
That's an immature. It takes 5 years for them to get the white head and tail. So.
Tell us, go back to that first time you saw the eagle. What did you think when you saw that eagle for the first time?
I was flabbergasted, and I went out every day for a solid week, 8 hours a day, sitting in my boat, watching the nest, taking pictures. And then my husband wanted me to come home, so he called State Fisheries and Wildlife and said, I think Nancy found an eagle's nest. So then they all came down and they cordoned off the area because it's protected. They're still protected in Massachusetts.
And rightly so. Tell us about a surprise that you happened upon.
The surprise of the eagles in the nest?
Yeah.
Well, they were huge. I mean, I just heard a noise, and I looked up in the cove, and there they were in the tree. And a bald eagle can be like 40 inches tall. And I looked up, and unless the California condors flew into Lakeville, there was nothing else it could have been because they're the fastest growing bird in North America.
What makes the Lakeville area so special? We have the large numbers.
Well, I have a theory, and I've said this many times before. I saw a picture of Lakeville or Massachusetts from outer space. They take pictures on the satellites that go by, and it's outer space, and you look at that picture of Massachusetts from outer space, and you see Quabbin Reservoir. That's where the original reintroduction program for the eagles were, and it's shaped in an upside-down horseshoe shape.
Okay.
You look a little further over and you see Lakeville with our ponds, and they're the same shape, just a little smaller. I always thought that eagles that had imprinted on Quabbin in that area made a mistake initially because of that exact shape. And there's also, if you go a little farther to the Cape, New Long Pond on the Cape is a series of ponds, same shape, a little smaller, and there have been eagles sighted there. They think that's maybe where the new nest will be, or nest will be coming. So I always thought that's just my own little personal.
Someone needs to do a study out there, folks. Let's talk one more with the pictures. How can folks get a hold of some of these cards? Because they are beautiful shots, and we're going to have Alan take a shot of some of them, but how do they get a hold of them?
My email is very easy, eaglelady@comcast.net.
I never would have guessed that. Nancy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nancy
Nice
Yates,
to see
it's
you.
good to see you again, too. We're going to continue with the Cranberry Country Journal. Stick around. We've got more to show you here at Made in Lakeville from the COA here at the Ted Williams Camp. Be right back.
The forest is a magical place for your whole family with animals and fun all around. Ooh. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Well, you know, an army only runs well, folks, if it's what's being served and the good food. And we're here in the kitchen with I'll call them the kitchen ladies, folks, Joanne and Jackie. You may recognize some of these faces from previous events and so forth. What's on the menu today?
Today we have quiche. We have 2 kinds of quiche. We have kale soup. We have vegan chili. all kinds of homemade baked goods, brownies, cookies, muffins, and meat pie. Meat pie with gravy.
Ooh, you don't see meat pie very often.
It's delicious. Everybody's coming for it.
And I gotta say, I've seen Joanne with many skills running the Lakeville Arts Festival, but she's one heck of a waitress here today.
Especially if it's collecting money.
Yes.
I'm good at that.
It is going to good cause for the community.
Yes.
It's really good. And everybody helps, and everybody pitches in.
Who made the chili?
Gail Fish made the chili.
Okay, she won't come on camera, but say her name again.
Gail Fish.
Okay. And the kale soup, can we give credit to the kale soup person?
It was Ann Alpori.
Okay.
Ken Apple made the meat pies.
Okay.
I made the quiche.
Yeah.
And Yvonne made the muffins and some brownies. And
Sue made brownies.
Richard Tripp made the cranberry bread.
Yeah.
Real community spirit. Well, let me just, all kidding aside, you're really going to be very proud of the community. This is just a community.
This is great. This is wonderful. Everybody's out. The library's busy. The COA is busy. This is great. Everybody's out to wrap a gift made in Lakeville, which is exactly what we want.
And Joanna's not running around crazily like the Lakeville Arts Festival.
No, this is easier.
This is
a smaller footprint.
Exactly.
When did you start here? Did you start yesterday or?
Well,
Thursday night we set up the COA, and then yesterday morning they set up the library, and all the crafters come yesterday afternoon.
Well, Alan Russell and I are going to try something. What do you recommend we try first? Meat pie. Okay. Joanne, Jackie, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Talking to us.
A little inside, behind the scenes, in the kitchen, folks, as Cranberry Country Journal continues. Here at the COA as part of Made in Lakeville. And Alan and I are going to eat something.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
This concludes this issue of Cranberry Country Journal. Had a great time here at the Council on Aging and also over at the Lakeville Library. This was our special event going on the road, and it couldn't have been possible without Alan Russell from LakeCAM. Always does a great job, and I'm glad to be part of that crew. In the meantime, this is Paul Lazarovich. Thanks for joining us. If you have an idea, for a suggestion, a topic for a show, give us a call. Write to us. Actually, it might be better. It's real simple. It's cranberrycountry@hotmail.com. Check out our website, cranberrycountry.com, or snail mail, Post Office Box 1235, Middleborough, Mass. 02346. This is Paul Lazarovich saying Merry Christmas and keep that Cranberry Country spirit in your heart. See you in a couple of weeks. Happy holidays, everyone.